Finnish drivers Vilpertti Turunen and of Tejo Lahti. But that was the sort of driving the stewards take a Dim Dior, the GT2 car knocked sideways by the Mercedes of Schneider. Was it Wirtz? It may have been Wirtz in the car at the moment. We're not absolutely clear at this moment. So if it wasn't Schneider, then I take back everything I said. Here's this Marcos, the number 60 car of Vilpertti Turunen. Great sideways smack by the Mercedes, put him in the wall, and other damaged cars going around there. There is the Proton car of Patrick Guillaume, also throwing a lot of scars. Just have a look again to see exactly what happened. Mercedes goes through in the foreground. Wirtz or Schneider comes round, then shuts the door on this Marcos, pushes the Marcos into the wall. Marcos all locked up right in front of the third place at the moment, Porsche, out of the running. So big dramas here with only 40 minutes to go in Helsinki. So the order at the moment, as you rejoin us, 84 laps completed. It's McLaren 1-2 still. Here is Bernd Schneider, who is in the Mercedes now, in 12th place. He's made 2 places up. Of course, we just lost the Lotus, and we were lucky not to lose the Gulf McLaren of Pierre-Henri Raffanel. Bernd Schneider on the charge, with Formula 1 style points awarded. He cannot hope to get any points today unless he can make up 6 places in this final 40 minutes of the Helsinki 3 hours. Round 3 of the FIA GT Championship. And Schneider, I'm sure, thinking in his mind he can go perhaps for fastest lap, because he is throwing this car around the streets of Helsinki. Fastest lap at the moment. Going to this man on 1:27.913. That's the time during the race which would have been good enough for 4th place on the grid. And just how determined Schneider is. Of course, Mercedes has a lot to do on their test program still, and this is a good way of doing it. So, you know, you've got no chance in the race, but Schneider, not the type of man who ever gives up. He's in 12th, but here, after 88 laps, are the top 6 places. Cox Rivalia, with Rivalia driving at the moment. Leto Soper on board at the moment. Kellner's Ortelli on board at the moment. Then the Gulf McLaren of Gilbert Scott, Guillaume Raffanel on board at the moment. Thomas Fischer handing over to John Nielsen in the other Gulf Lotus. And in 6th place, the surviving GBF Lotus, the car of Mauro Martini and Andrea Boldrini. And Boldrini is on board that car at the moment. GT. One other runners there down through the field. So very, very sad to see that we have lost possible 3rd place. Andrea Boldrini complaining this morning of a low-speed misfire. Obviously went away, or just don't drive at low speed, so they seem to have plenty of pickup out of the corners. We saw that with the way that he was holding off the BMW McLarens earlier on. So this little Lotus, the car loosely based on the Elise, built at Ketteringham Hall by George Howard Chapel, Ian Foley, and Lotus Racing. And 5 cars delivered so far, 2 for Lotus Racing themselves, with Jan Lammers and crew. 2 of them going to GBF, and the other car going to First Racing Project, the team of Indonesian Rantanakul Prutiat. That car unfortunately out of the race now. They retired early on. We saw a spin and haven't seen it since. But Lotus, the first of the new breed of GT1 cars to be ready for this year. They were determined to have the first one for 97, and unfortunately became a victim of their own success, because having built the car up with the V8 twin turbo and getting 560 horsepower out of it, they discovered to their horror that the FI regulations were being changed. They faced a 50 horsepower power loss with the new restrictors, so the whole idea of the car been to have a less powerful engine to allow a lower weight. They wanted to run at 900 horsepower, kilograms, with under 600 horsepower. And appeals to the FIA were no good. So they've now fallen back on the 32 valve rather, 6-litre V8 designed by Tony Rudd, and they've had 600 horsepower to that. They're not here this weekend, and this team, as we mentioned earlier, the GBF team run by Benetton and Franco Miners, is using the V8 atmospheric engine. They're getting something like 580 horsepower out of it this weekend, with the restrictors now larger than they were for the first 2 races. And they've done a great job this weekend with these smoky twin turbos here in Helsinki. Yeah, Luigi Martini still on board the BMW, so the BMS Scuderia Italia car, the Porsche 911 GT1, 3.1 litre twin turbo, the 962 Group C engine. This car, of course, the car last year, which absolutely horrified McLaren, horrified Lotus, Ferrari. They said it was too far advanced, and now the car strangely looks a lot less advanced than the Mercedes and the new generation of McLarens. Bernd Schneider about to gobble him up as he continues to unlap himself. Martini giving him no quarter. They're all racing drivers. Why should they let anyone by, even if they are quicker? Schneider going through, down the inside. No, he's not. No, he backs off again as they go through the S just in front of the pits. I think that gave Mercedes... Oh, he's got really blocked now as they come up. Well, no, through he goes. What a tight line for the Mercedes. Now, he's obviously got incredible traction. You can see how he just gets that power out of the V12 Mercedes engine. It's a production-based engine, straight down onto the road, and he was off like a rocket. The Porsche, of course, very, very low revs, perhaps just a little bit of turbo lag as he went wider in the corner, and out went Bernd Schneider like an Exocet. 600 horsepower, these restrictors, but massive torque from this V12 engine. Bernd Schneider probably now rather enjoying himself after the earlier problems. 25 minutes of racing left to go, and he's just throwing this car around the Helsinki circuit. Suddenly slowed, even as we're looking at those results, and Roberto Ravaglia crawling around the circuit. Trying to get the car back to the pits. It looks like it could be a repeat of the gearbox problem they had in Hockenheim. Smoke coming from underneath the car. That is exactly where the gearbox is situated. They had a gearbox or differential failure in Hockenheim. They won at Silverstone, and he's just making it back to the pits. The team will be diving on the car now. Let's get down there, see what's happening. So Ravaglia, 40 years old tomorrow. This is not the birthday present he was waiting for. The Schnitzer team immediately on the car. Get the rear engine cover open. They're losing valuable time. Mid-engine, this car, gearbox at the back. The camera trying to poke his nose in, see what's happening. There's definitely smoke coming out of the back. We hope the team saw it. Give them some indication of what the problem might be, but that all, of course, played into Steve Soper's hands. The British driver, Steve Soper, now leading the race, and it's already a lap over his teammate, Roberto Ravaglia. Steve Soper, partnered by JJ Leto. There's the view of the pits. Right there on the harbour front. Grandstands overlooking the pits. And yes, it looks like a transmission problem there. They're working on the back. The differential or drive shaft, maybe even a rear hub. The way they're studying the inside of that tyre, it looks like something's been rubbing. They've high drama here in Helsinki. 102 laps completed. Steve Soper leading the race now on his 103rd lap. Well, the way it looks like they're checking the diff. They're rocking both rear wheels. See what's happening if the limited slip is not working on the diff or something to do with the transmission. That's what they're working on. And it looks like, anyway, whatever happens, McLaren is not going to take its 1-2 it had hoped for. Rook Porsche 3 laps back when this all happened. Hopefully Porsche thinking we can come up through to second place if this car gets back in the race. Will it be up to speed? And if it's up to speed, will it get back in before Rook Porsche has unwrapped itself for the 3rd time and gone past his car? It looks like it's all over. Roberto Ravaglia out of the car, and BMW Motorsport retire their number 9 car, which has led the race for the last 45 minutes. 45 minutes still to go in the race, and here's our leader, Steve Soper, the only BMW Motorsport car on the track now. And this, of course, will move Gulf McLaren up into 3rd and 4th places. So Gulf will suddenly find themselves, I think, with a podium finish. It looked a little bit unexpected earlier on in the race. So the sail somewhat taken out of BMW's blitzkrieg here on Helsinki, they push away the Ravaglia car. Oh, an accident there, someone in the wall. That's a big heavy crash, a lot of damage there, and that is one of the Carl Augustin cars. It looks like it's the Vito Rosler car. It is indeed, it's Vito Rosler at the wheel. Happened just in front of the pits. He's going to have to make a full lap now to get back to the pits. Let's see what happened. He comes in, he just spins, he loses it, smacks the front wall. Now the trouble is on these Porsche 911 GT2s, the oil coolers are all in there, in that front cluster. And if he's not careful, he will have damaged the oil coolers. No water radiator to worry about, of course. So that's the reason he spun. He has a rear puncher. Vito Rosler heading around the circuit. Rear puncher, front end damage. With just 15 minutes of the race left, so big blow for this car. It was, at the moment this happened, 3rd in GT2 behind Rook, Porsche and Marcos. So there you can see the tyre has already deflated. It's just enough to thump the wall. That's the bad luck, the fact he catches that whole front end on the wall. But in any case, all happening in front of the pits, and it means he has another lap to go to get round. 3.18 kilometers, and this will be the longest 2 miles of Vito Rosler's life, I should think. Steve Soper, BMW Motorsport McLaren. Still leading from Rook Porsche, from Gulf McLaren in 3rd and 4th places. And Lotus up into 5th place from BMS Scuderia Italia Porsche in 6th place. Conrad Porsche 7th, AMG Mercedes now of Schneider and Wirtz is up into 8th place. What an amazing comeback, still just outside the points, they only go to the top 6. And then the quicker of the GT2 cars moves up into 9th place overall. Rook Porsche from Marcos. The white flag's out for Vito Rosler limping around the track. So we follow the 3rd place car, the Rook Porsche of Stefan Ortelli. Ralph Kellner having done his shift. Car bearing scars from a brush with the walls yesterday on the back. Raffanel turning in 139s. The Rook Porsche at the moment turning in 136s, so catching at 3 seconds a lap at the moment. This car already 3 laps down. In third place, John Nielsen. What a good job by Big John again. Can always be relied on to come up with the goods. John Nielsen, world champion in 1995 with his friend and teammate Thomas Pichard. Won 2 races last year against 3 of Thomas Pichard, because at one race Peter Koch shared the car and John Nielsen was racing in Japan. Won the GT Championship in Japan last year, driving with David Brabham. Also this year came back and won the Monza 1,000 kilometers. Yellow flags there, what was that for? Is there a spinner? Yep. Oh, it's Kohlreuser. No, it's not Kohlreuser, it's the Finnish car, the Marcos of the Finns, and the engine looks like it might have let go. There's a fire though. So the Finnish fire brigade arrive in force, trying to find out how to get into this car. There is some fire in there, obviously. Just a couple of minutes to go now. Can't find out where to get the extinguisher in. And just hopefully there won't be too much damage to the Marcos Racing International car of Tejo Lahti and Vil Tuerinen. That's Lahti abandoning the car. Well, we're just 3 minutes away from the finish of the 3 hours here in Helsinki. Third round of the FIA GT Championship, and we are looking at Steve Soper, who together with JJ Leto are going to leapfrog even further ahead in the GT1 Drivers' Championship after their second win, their first win coming in Hockenheim, and Team BMW Motorsport will just absolutely disappear into the distance in the Teams Championship. So, helicopter view of the sunshine now coming out just to celebrate the win for Steve Soper and for JJ Leto. Steve can just get the car through his last 2 laps to the finish without any problems. Great drive again by Steve. We've seen him come up with this, delivering the goods every time. And they got the fire out on the Marcos. It's being pushed to safety under yellow flags. No need for a course car. We're right at the end. So 43-year-old Steve Soper, the man from Greenford, who started racing in Minis, about to become the toast of Helsinki, along with his illustrious teammate JJ Leto. JJ Leto, the man from Espoo, not far north of Helsinki. There he is, 31 years old, and already giving interviews to the local TV stations. Probably telling him, well, we haven't quite finished yet. Don't ask me about victory until we've taken the checkered flag. So it's going to be a 3-lap victory. Porsche second, Gulf McLaren third, and Pierre-Henri Raffanel in 4th place. Here is the leading car, 111 laps already completed. He's now on his 112th. 3 laps in hand over the 2nd and 3rd place cars, who are going to be Rook Porsche and Gulf McLaren. Got 3 different teams in the top 3 places, but what a good drive again, we'll say, by Porsche against all odds, with all the problems they've had with the strangulation of the Porsche engines by turbo restrictors. They've been given some leeway this weekend, and Rook Porsche under Fabian Rook, the 1996 GT2 world champions, have come back with a great drive into 2nd place, beating all but this car we're looking at now. And Raffanel about to be beaten up in the background by the Rook Porsche. He's trying to put Raffanel down another lap. Well, just a few seconds to go, the checkered flag will come out, and when Steve Soper passes the flag, the 3 hours of Helsinki will be at an end. Still bumping over the port roads, but the checkered flag is waiting for this man, race winner Steve Soper, who together with JJ Leto has made it 2 out of 3, even got time to wave to the crowd. And BMW Motorsport continue their total domination of the 1997 FIA GT Championship with victory here in Helsinki after 3 hours of racing in the city streets. Rafanel finishing in 4th, and right behind him, Porsche finishing in 2nd. Well, there's Charlie Schnitzer, well, being congratulated by his whole team, and as we said earlier, now BMW's race director. A great way to celebrate his new job, and look, the Finnish crowd just love it. A Finnish driver and a British driver together have won here in Helsinki. They might not have been driving Mercedes, but that's not what matters. It's the fact it's JJ Later who's going to be on the top of the podium as John Nielsen takes the number 2 Golf McLaren across the line to finish in 3rd place. A great comeback by them. They've made it onto the podium, and it did not look like that was going to happen early in the race. So what better result could the organisers of the Thunder in Helsinki have asked for than JJ Lato starting from pole position after a stunning performance on Saturday afternoon to come back with an equally stunning performance on Sunday to win the race here in the streets. Well, unfortunately, we can't bring you the words, but JJ, you can guess in Finnish, is telling everybody, well, that's great. It's what we wanted, and what a way to celebrate the 3rd running of the Helsinki street race. Well, let's have a look further down the order. So BMW Motorsport McLaren winning from Porsche by 3 laps, from Gulf McLaren by 3 laps. The number 1 Gulf McLaren 4 laps down, driven by Rafanel at the end there. And then Lotus coming home in 5th place. What a great drive, and so encouraging for Lotus to have 2 reliable cars running today. Luca Badoer, one of the fastest men on the circuit during the race, but put out by a collision. So Lotus have every reason to feel they are now getting somewhere with this Elise GT1. They were 4 laps down. In 6th place, BMS Scuderia Italia, 5 laps down. That's the car of Pierluigi Martini and Christian Pescatori. And in 7th place, Conrad Porsche bring their car home. Franz Conrad, Maribaldi and Max Angelelli in 5 laps down as well. AMG Mercedes, a good comeback by Bernd Schneider into 8th place, 6 laps down, having taken another lap just towards the end off the race winners. Porsche winning GT2, 7 laps down, but they won that by just 14 seconds from the Marcos of Korhäuser. So great performance there in GT2. Shame we didn't see more of the battle, but it's just shows how strong GT2 continues to be. There's confirmation of the results and of the big lap differences, and that, you have to say, was a runaway victory. 113 laps completed. And then the overall scheme of things, confirmation of the GT2 winners, 9th from 2nd place in GT2, 10th. So Claudio Hurtgen, Bruno Eichmann, Niamarin pull it off again from Korhäuser and Harold Becker. Cox and Rivalia classified as 13th, but 12 laps down. And the sun now coming out to celebrate the end of the race.
So, you know, the program has been very, very busy, and I think that we are very ready for Le Mans.
JJ, we'll see you down there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break, come back, and we'll be on the